All right, let's dive right into this. Question one: what are three things you learned in this class that you can use in your career, and specifically discuss what you will apply when working with these populations? So, number one thing would be power training for older adults. I thought that article was really interesting. And I think that the body is such a fine-tuned machine that I don't know, that we take for granted, I guess. And I love that training those type 2 muscle fibers can actually increase the benefit of the results in older people and have them get better adaptations as far as their balance, stability, and even just muscular strength in general, since their biggest thing is worrying about falling. Um, I definitely think that I would apply, and I have been applying more of a, one rep max for these individuals in a safe environment, of course. So that's how I would apply that. Is I'll actually take the power training and the science behind that and apply that to my clientele. The second thing I think with youth is the cycle of influence on quality of life, with the emotional, physical, psychological, and social well being of the kids. I just think we play a huge role as personal trainers, more so in people's lives. I feel like I'm more of a therapist than a personal trainer most days. And I had one client who just like wasn't feeling it. And normally she's a high school girl, she's a junior this year, track star, and she's just like every time she was training she was saying she was sick and nauseous and this and that. Anyways, long story short, I was asking her um, how stressed she was, and I was like, I can't continue to train you right now if you're feeling dizzy and lightheaded. And so I was like, let's just talk. So we started talking about like her stress levels, and she opened up about how she feels pressure. Her brother was super smart, and so now she feels like she has to be super smart to get her parents' approval. And I was able to ask her, I said, who do you look up to most in your life? And she told me her parents. And I asked why. And she said, well, they do anything for me. And, went on with all these, like, her reasoning behind it was very emotional attached, or like a characteristic involved. And so I said, now, so their grades had nothing to do with it. And so I was able to kind of explain to her that it's not anything to do with grades or what you can do necessarily with I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's not grade dependent, and that the reason why people like her is because she is outgoing and she's kind, and that's where she gets her value from. So if she's taking her value from a wrong uh, place, then she's causing stress for herself that doesn't need to be there. So I was able to, emotionally guide her in a direction that she felt more comfortable. Number three, creating visions for younger kids and making them into a reality. I think, like I was saying, an example too, being able to play a leadership role outside of the family and be a positive influence can really benefit kids. I got to get moving. Sorry. Number two, what two assessments do you feel are most important for these populations and why? So I'm going to be that jerk that just doesn't answer questions and go off on my own rant. I think assessment should be based on goals, so I can't necessarily say that one assessment is better than another. It's all circumstantial. So I think my ability to be able to take somebody's goals, really pay attention and listen, and then apply a proper goal or a proper assessment to that goal is a better answer to that question. So independent thinking, you guys taught us that too. But I will say that the timed up and go for older for the older population would be a good one to assess risk fall. I'd never really thought much about using that as an assessment, so I'll definitely be using the timed up and go. Number three, what do you feel may be the most challenging for you about working with these populations? So did I read the right question? I'm sorry. Which of the two populations discussed in class are you more likely to work with in your career? So I honestly I put both because a huge passion of mine is to end childhood obesity, And so I love working with youth and being able to um, train them and make or help motivate them and inspire them to make fitness a passion and to put their aggression or heart or passion into fitness or nutrition and bettering their lifestyle and having positive impact on other people and on themselves instead of getting into dating or drugs or alcohol or whatever, that they can actually put their intention into their own health and well-being. So I would definitely, that's how I enjoy working with kids. When it comes to older adults, I love the idea of being able to improve their quality of life as they get older. They become normally sedentary, and so to be able to give them some guidance and hopefully um, it works and they apply the concepts and they can enjoy the rest of their life with a better quality of life and hopefully add life or years to their life. What do you feel may be the most challenging about working with these populations? One, I would say for the older population is definitely they're set in their ways, and they kind of learn this stuff when maybe they were our age, and so that's just how they feel it's always been, and so they haven't like kept up with science or technology, and things haven't changed. So the older populations that I work with, it's harder for me to kind of almost like I feel like I'm having to convince them that listen, science has changed. This is what we do now. So that's I think the challenge that is with older population. With kids, it's so tough today because with the media and Google and um, all the advertisement and stuff, people don't know what to believe, or they buy into the schemes they see on Instagram and Facebook. These bodybuilders taking these supplements that are terrible for them, and then like the women, same idea. But I think more or less it's um, narrowing it down into actual science for them, and that everything is not just as fake as a bodybuilding picture or some woman that's been training for 15 years. It's deeper than that. You have to put in work, you have to put in time, and in order to get the results. um, and the last question, what do you feel may be the most rewarding for you about working with these populations? I would definitely say the just my clients getting results, both old and young. When I see that they're getting results, it inspires me. The thought of me inspiring them is awesome. And just creating that ripple effect, being able to educate somebody or inspire somebody or change somebody's life with fitness or a body transformation. And then now other people see that and they get inspired. So just that ripple effect that I may be causing is why I love what I do. And I actually got a card in the mail today. A client that I quit training a few months ago, I trained her and her daughter for probably 6 months, and they couldn't afford it anymore, and our schedules didn't meet up. And they sent me a card with a gift card in it, and they said they just wanted to thank me for inspiring them and for educating them, and that they're still using the concepts that I taught them. So I love what I do, and that's the reason right there is being able to change other people's lives for the better. So, Sean, thank you so much for class. Your sarcasm and knowledge was a pleasure. So, I appreciate it, man. Everything you did. Sorry this is a little bit longer, but suck it up, man. Thanks, buddy, for everything.